So this video is how I bring home lawnmowers and snowblowers to fix up and sell. This video is more about my process and what I do to sell them fast without a lot of time and work. I find them by searching Marketplace, Craigslist, stopping at garage sales and auctions. Most of them I get for free or cheap, and I have to assess them as fixable or recycle as scrap. Most of them look like this when I first get them. I don't do any major repairs. I usually just fix the little things that are wrong with them, so I don't have to spend a lot of time on them. So after I make all the repairs and they start and run well, I clean them up so it makes them more marketable for selling. I made this hitch rack so I can bring home mowers and snow blowers using my car without damaging my vehicle. Just a simple rack made out of angle iron and tubing, 18 inches by 29. Little brake light and some bungee cords. Rack and everything fits in the bottom of the trunk, so I have it with me all the time just in case I need to pick something up after work. We'll hold a small snow blower too. So here's my other way of hauling home mowers and snow blowers. So I have a small utility trailer. It's about 4x8, and it's tilt bed. It'll fit on my car. Right now it's on my truck, but it'll fit on my car too, and I can tow it. And anyways, I got this garden tractor today. It was in a garage that they couldn't get the garage door open for about 5 years, so it's at least hasn't been running for 5 years. It's got really bad rear tires. Both are gonna have to be replaced. I'm charging it right now. It's got a battery, had about 2.5 volts on it, so it's not completely dead. I'm gonna see if it'll take a charge. Front tires I had to air up. They're holding air, but they're not the greatest, so they would all have to be replaced. Motor deck looks rough. The motor's Kohler. Haven't tried to start it yet. Gas line looks pretty questionable. Doesn't have any gas in it, so I'm going to try to start it up here and see in a little bit. So what I do if I can't get them going, or if they're not worth the money, which this one's probably pretty close to not cost too much to fix it up to make it worth selling, I at least see if the motor runs, because it could sell it for scrap to someone else that wants to get it going or want the motor for something. But if I don't get it going, I can always just recycle it at a scrap yard and get the weight, paid in weight of scrap steel. So I'm going to try to check it out and see if I can get it started and see if it's got some value left to it. Okay, usually I like to try to start them or assess them in the trailer before I get them out and find out. I just have to drag it to the scrap yard. So this one, since the gas line is pretty questionable, I didn't put gas in it. And what you can do just to see if it starts is you take the air cleaner cover off down here, and then you just use a little bit of gas in a bottle and just put a little bit down in the carburetor, just a squirt, maybe a half an ounce, not that much. And then I use since the battery's dead, I have this remote jump starter, so I use that to try to start it. So I tried starting it, and it did nothing when I engaged the starter. Starter didn't engage because somebody's already been into here and they've taken the bolt out of the starter. I think the starter is hosed. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to scrap this. There's no usable parts off this. I'll just drag it across the scales and get its weight in steel. Okay, so I remove the battery and recycle that. So what I mean by no reusable parts for me is, the tires, it's going to need 4 new tires. It's going to need a starter. I don't know if the hydrostat works, gear. I also don't know if the mower deck works. So it's just not worth throwing a bunch of money at, and maybe it's a $400 or $500 tractor when you're done. I may keep the seat and maybe keep the hood, but I don't have a lot of room around here, so I usually just fix things up and get rid of them. I don't have storage on my property to hold on to a bunch of them to part them out. So I just get rid of them after I assess them, whether they're a go or no go situation. So as far as how I got this home and how I got it loaded, I use my utility trailer. Like I said, it's a tilt bed and I can pull it with my car. I will show you how this works here in a second. You just have a pin here you pull, and then it'll allow you to tilt it down, and I'll show you how I got it in. It just manually tilts. Okay, so I didn't video picking it up, but I can tell you what I did. I had to pull it out of the garage with my truck with a tow strap, get it to the edge of the garage door at their place, and then I pulled it into my trailer using this winch I got from Harbor Freight many years ago. It's just a 12-volt winch. I connect it. It's probably got about a 20-foot cable on it, and it just connects to your car battery. This cable, it's probably 20 foot long or more. At least 12 gauge wire. You don't want to use small wire, and it's directly connected to the battery. You can't use your cigarette lighter, it'll blow a fuse. It's got to be a direct connection to the battery. So all you do is hook it up. Then it's got this little handle here, button, and you just pull it in. And then I can just pull the tilt bed back down. And relatch the pin. Important part not to forget. There. It's in, secured. Sometimes I'll block the wheels if it's a mower that will roll. This one doesn't roll because of serious flat tires. But this winch really makes it great. I just put in I have a temporary ball there. I just put in a hole I drilled in the wood. And this is a hitch mount power winch. So it can go on the bumper of the vehicle. But I put this ball in here so I can run it into my trailer. So here is my small area for my little boneyard. I got a Toro snowblower that carburetor had cleaned it out a couple times. It's not reliably starting. It's not worth it. Wouldn't sell for that much to put my time in. This guy here was broke from the get-go. I got it drivetrain out. It's not worth fixing. This one here came with this one. They're both free. This one's missing the cover for the drivetrain. The cable doesn't work for the drivetrain. It does run and start. It's just not the greatest looking thing, and I like them to be able to clean up pretty nice. This one over here doesn't look too bad. It's not self-propelled. Both cables are bad, and I don't care for Tecumseh, and I'd have to go through the carburetor on this, and so it's not really worth it. It wouldn't sell for a substantial amount, so I'm gonna let it go too. So here's everything ready, loaded up to go to the scrap yard. Just kind of throw it all in there, pull it across the scale, and get scrap value for it. I keep spare parts from scrap mowers. I have coils, mufflers, blades, a lot of cables, hardware, mufflers, more cables, air cleaners, ropes, and then I have a lot of totes out back that have the wheels and the bigger parts. So here's an example of something that's worth selling. I got this for free. They said the only thing that's wrong with it is gas pours out of it when you pour it in. So it's probably a cracked line or maybe a tank or the carburetor, but it's worth looking at and fixing. The thing is, I probably won't look at it till fall because this is the wrong time of year to be trying to sell a snowblower. Here's another example of a free keeper. This is a Poland Pro self-propelled snowblower, and it looks really nice. The only thing that was wrong with it is it kept breaking shear pins because they didn't have the skids adjusted right, and the auger was hitting the concrete. The only thing I got to fix on this is this flap here. It doesn't stay up. I just need to put a spring on it. And otherwise, it runs, starts great. It's electric start. I'm thinking about getting rid of my personal one and keeping this for myself. Otherwise, I can sell this for a few $100s. So here are some mowers and snowblowers that I've sold on Marketplace. My listings have 5 to 6 good pictures with a full description stating that they start and run good and have no issues. I try to list everything at a fair price that moves them fast. I find that mowers sell best in the early spring and snowblowers sell best when a snowstorm is forecast.